I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. Donald Trump making, again, just incredibly deranged and disqualifying posts. But I hear you all loud and clear. And so I've changed the approach to how I've been covering Donald Trump's vile and despicable and disgusting posts. And first, we start off with, what is President Joe Biden talking about today? And we cover the types of messages that Joe Biden is putting out there and the types of policies and projects that he is engaged in. And then we compare those to what is Donald Trump talking about? Is Donald Trump actually providing any policies? Is he providing any solutions to people's lives? And no, I mean, look, Donald Trump's posts are completely deranged and vile, and they should be disqualifying. But let's talk about what is a politician doing for people, right? What is their solution? So first, let's pull up what President Biden is talking about. Here's what President Biden's posted over the past day. My administration will connect everyone in America to affordable high-speed internet by 2023. Find out where. Go to internetforall.gov. Internet for all Americans. That's what President Biden's talking about. Next, he talks about jobs. Unemployment has been below 4% for the longest stretch in 50 years. Inflation is less than half of what it was 1 year ago. We're moving from trickle-down economics to Bidenomics. And also, it should be noted as well, America has the fastest growing GDP out of all G7 nations and the lowest inflation of all G7 nations. Those are good statistics. Doesn't mean that things couldn't get better. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't address the fact that people feel that they're hurting when they go into a grocery store. But it is important that we reflect and compare, okay, well, how are we doing compared to other G7 nations? President Biden's next post. More jobs added in 2.5 years than any president has ever created in a 4-year term, and more reasons Bidenomics is working. Jobs, jobs, jobs. 13.2 million jobs were added under President Biden. The next post, I believe that every American willing to work hard should be able to raise their kids on a good paycheck and keep their roots where they grew up. That's the American dream. That's Bidenomics. His other post, this is Bidenomics in action. Our economy added more than 200,000 jobs last month for a total of 13.2 million jobs since I took office. That's more jobs added in 2.5 years than any president has ever created in a 4-year term. Let's compare that to what Donald Trump is saying. The same day that President Biden said all of that, here's what Donald Trump is posting. Deranged Jack Smith, the wacko prosecutor that corrupt Joe Biden and his thugs stuck on me during the political campaign in which Biden is losing big, an absolute no-no, just by the way, that's false, just announced that he has spent over $9 million already on this continuing witch hunt. Biden's special prosecutor, by comparison, has spent almost nothing. Prosecutorial misconduct for purposes of election interference. This is an individual who has grifted hundreds of millions of dollars off of people, claiming that there was an election defense fund which never existed. This is someone trying to overthrow our democracy. So the fact that a widespread criminal investigation would cost in the millions of dollars to preserve, protect, and defend our democracy is actually a very insignificant amount. But also, it's just Donald Trump whining and whining, not talking about what he can do for the American people at all, just whining. Jack Smith, this deranged, psycho, warthog, prosecutor. It's like, grow up. And again, any of this should be disqualifying. Here is another post that Donald Trump reposted. This was from his event in Iowa. He goes, I promise you this, if you put me back in the White House, their reign will be over and America will be a free nation once again. And notice, these are the people, Donald Trump, MAGA Republicans, taking away people's freedom. This is how dystopian authoritarians frame things, that you don't have your freedom. They're coming for your freedom. Meanwhile, it's people like Donald Trump who take away your freedoms. And just the way he talks about it, their reign will be over. You will get your freedom again. What in the world are you even talking about right there? Next post. If their corrupt persecutions of our people succeed, they will complete their takeover of this country and destroy your way of life forever. And there you have it again. Fear, scare. They're coming for you. They're taking away your freedoms. Meanwhile, the MAGA Republicans are picking your pockets. They're taking away your freedoms. They're the ones engaged in the conduct that they accuse the other. But that's Goebbels right there. That's what Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propagandist, said, right? Accuse the other of that which you are guilty of. Accuse the other. Also, tell a lie. But the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. Also comes from the Nazi propagandist, and authoritarians engage in that conduct all the time, and that's what we see here. It's not Democrats versus the Republicans. There's the Democratic Party, pro-democracy, and then you've got Republicans who are now MAGA Republicans, who are embracing authoritarian, anti-democracy, where all they talk about is Donald Trump as their cult leader. And it's very problematic. Here's Donald Trump's next thing, and just making something up. For purposes of national security, I will ban communist China from buying up farmland. And that's supposed to get like a round full of applause right there. How about making sure that farmers get the wages that they deserve? Okay. How about we make sure that farmers get the health care that they deserve? How about we make sure that farmers are not being exploited by multinational corporations or even large corporations owned by billionaires here in America who take advantage of them and exploit them? Under Donald Trump's policies, how about we focus on that? And meanwhile, in all of these Republican states, or in a lot of them, you see them cutting these sweetheart deals with Saudi Arabia to take over farmland. That ain't happening under Democratic administrations. That's happening under Republican administrations. Oh, here's Donald Trump's next plan as President Biden is talking about jobs and talking about reducing inflation and talking about high-speed internet and infrastructure. Here's Donald Trump's post. When I return to the White House, I will declassify and unseal all JFK assassination-related documents. It's been 60 years, time for the American people to know the truth. So that's what he's talking about, JFK assassination. And again, this is just, where are you focusing on issues that matter to people? I'm not saying that declassifying this may not be important. I just, we focus on like jobs, the economy, infrastructure, making sure a woman can control her own body, equality, protecting our veterans, protecting our military. Here's Donald Trump's next post. Whatever happened to the 1,850 boxes of documents that Biden won't show to anybody? What about the docs found in Chinatown, D.C., and those in his unsecured garage, where Hunter stayed as China was sending Biden millions and millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing? Maybe the nothing was for doing plenty. Here's this was as I was scrolling through the social media platform. I mean, obviously, it's just Donald Trump whining, Biden this, Biden that, Jack Smith, Chinatown. It's like just all of his deranged conspiracy theories. Every day he's obsessed. This is what he posts every single day. This is one from Revolver News, which is on their social media platform, which is anything but news. They go, Erica made the mistake of taking liberalism's hysterical reaction to the Supreme Court's decision to its logical conclusion. And by the way, this is a made-up person. Erica doesn't really exist. This is a bot likely created by right-wing groups on Twitter to try to make a caricature of liberal people to then attack. This isn't a real human being. This is a op by individuals who are trying to undermine our democracy. Donald Trump's next post. Where are the White House security tapes, like the ones I openly and happily gave to deranged ex-" I'm not even going to read this one anymore. It's just whiny. But here's what I want to analyze in a little more detail. Donald Trump goes, "This is further proof that the presidential election of 2020 was rigged." This was further proof that the presidential election of 2020 was rigged. And here is what he posts. He posts this order by a judge he appointed from Louisiana, a federal judge, Judge Terry Doughty from the Western District of Louisiana. And this is what's written in a magisterial 155-page opinion. I've never heard an opinion referred to as a magisterial 155-page opinion. Missouri v. Biden. Judge Terry A. Doughty of the Western District of Louisiana enjoined a large number of federal departments and agencies, including the FBI and the State Department. Let me pull it back up, sorry. And the State Department and the CDC and the executive branch officials from meeting with social media companies for the purpose of urging, encouraging, pressuring, or inducing any matter the removal, deletion, suppression, or reduction of content containing protected free speech posted on social media platforms. So here Donald Trump's kind of telling on himself a little bit. So Donald Trump, you were in office in 2020, okay? You were the government in 2020. So if you were saying that this injunction shows that the government at the time engaged in misconduct, you are saying that you engaged in misconduct because you were in office during the 2020 election. So let me put that out there. Second, what this order is, this is a Trump-appointed judge, Terry A. Doughty, from Louisiana, who overturns and blocks all of President Biden's policies, including the policies regarding getting vaccines out. And he wrote a horrific anti-vax opinion over that. He's blocked a number of other Biden policies. And in a 155-page order, he ruled that President Biden, not when President Biden was campaigning, but President Biden while he was in office and the executive branch under Biden, that their urging of social media companies by providing facts and data not to post disinformation about vaccines and the election was an infringement of the First Amendment rights of the social media companies of the state of Missouri who filed. It is an incomprehensible order, a patently unconstitutional order that is being appealed by the Department of Justice. But the order is after it's regarding the Biden administration. So if you're saying this applies to you, you were in office during the 2020 election, and this order is ridiculous because why shouldn't the government, the administration, they're not threatening social media companies, why shouldn't they provide them with accurate information? The same way communications directors and press secretaries interact with the press and say on background or off the record, get the facts right. They're not forcing them. It's a horrific decision. But anyway, this just shows that, again, just more lies. And why would that have anything to do with the 2020 election? Because you were in office, so you were the executive branch then. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers. Thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, wherever you get audio podcasts. Subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast and have an excellent day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.